and welcome to Letty Does Playing Lone Wolf, the Huntress Marked for Death, Part 1. Finally, after months and months and months, I am continuing my Huntress playthrough. For those of you that don't know what that is, it is a new playbook trilogy set in Joe Dever's World of Magnamon about 50 years before the events of Flight from the Dark, which is the first Lone Wolf book. There's just a lot to cover about that, so if you'd like to know more, you can check out my Let's Play from my previous Let's Play, and also my more recent unboxing of the Huntress trilogy by checking out those links in the description in my PeerTube video. But where I had last left off, I had just played, Shadows Over Fire, which serves as a prologue to the Huntress trilogy, where you are playing as a member of the Order of the Waking Flame. I played as Nessa. I played as Tetha, and I got sent by my boss, Nessa, to go investigate some missing merchants from the route to Dalibu to Herdos. And I ended up finding the merchants. Unfortunately, they were being experimented on by some evil necromancers, maybe demons, the twins. And I ended up having to mercy kill them. I think I also killed the twins as well. Nearly escaped with my life, and I was rescued by someone of the Brotherhood of the Crystal Star. And yeah, that's where my story left off. Hopefully, Tetha made it back to Nessa to confirm her suspicions of evil happenings in the area. But now we are going to be playing as the Huntress. And this is the first book, Marked for Death. My main goal is to just set stuff up for the main playthrough. Yes. I have here the book. Here's my book stand. I usually don't play in my room because there is a lot of small moving parts for my board games. However, I really only have my pencil, my eraser, and my D10 to worry about. So hopefully this will be better. I do have my my Magnamon blanket here from the 40th anniversary merch box. A cat will come and lay on it. Probably one already did, but I have aligned it to show Summerlin here and Toran right there, which is where this should take place. And yeah, hopefully this filming setup is viable. We will see. Let's get started. Alright, so we have here the book. Let me go ahead. That's the brand of the Order of the Waking Flame. Yeah, Toran. We got that up there. I have a giant map now. Marked for Death. Okie dokie. Story so far. In Vasagonia there is a saying, two things will rewind. The story so far. In Vasagonia there is a saying, two things surely will curse you, the keeping of a secret and the seeking of a secret. In your case you are doubly cursed, for the secret you seek is your own. 8 years ago you wandered out of the great dry main clad in a bloody and torn surcoat and collapsed at the edge of Nessie, a village surviving on a thin strip of habitable land nestled between the river Kuroda and the burning sands. Blood covered your body, most of it your own, flowing from a terrible wound across your chest. You were found by two children who alerted the village healer. Under the ministrations of this kindly old man, you slowly recovered your strength, but your memories were lost. You do not recall the blade that cut you, nor the adversary who wielded it. No history or sense of belonging was yours to claim. Since that time, you have taken up bounty work, traveling across all of Magnemon, lending your sword arm to those who can afford it. You have aided in the capture of many criminals, been bodyguard for Highborn, and have even tracked and brought to heel the occasional monster. Your reputation has prospered, and though no trace of the person you may have once been has returned to you, not even your name, a new persona has grown in its place. You have become known to your clients as the Huntress. Years on Magnemon had measured against the creation of the Moonstone, a legendary artifact of the mystical Shanti. The year is now MS 5000, 5,000 years after the creation of the Moonstone. You are spending the last days of summer in the city of Toran, on Summerland's northern coast, famous as the location of the Guild Hall of the Brotherhood of the Crystal Star. You are ending a period of rest afforded to you by a very successful bounty captured in the Wildlands, and are now turning your sights to the war-torn kingdoms of the south, where you are sure to find work to carry you through the colder seasons. However, just as you are about to board the coach that will carry you the long miles to Veretta, you are approached by a young page. He presses an envelope into your hand and then disappears back into the crowd without a word. Curious, you open it to find a message written in beautiful handwriting and golden ink. Meet in an hour's time, Heart Manor. On the back is scrawled another message, one that makes your palms sweat and your heart race. You call over the coachmaster and show them the letter, asking them if they know where Heart Manor is. The coachmaster spits and backs away, making the sign of warding across his chest. Burn that letter, the stout man insists. The hearts are cursed. What do you mean cursed? All that have dealings with them come to a bad end, the coachmaster says. We're about to be off. You'd do well to climb aboard and forget you ever saw that letter. You can keep the cost of my ticket. Just tell me where Heart Manor is. It's bad luck to have an empty seat in a coach, the man says. Then save it for my ghost, you say. The coachmaster hesitates, but he knows he will not be able to fill your spot before he is due to leave. Finally, greed wins out over fear, and he gives you an address in a wealthy part of town along Lomspur Lane. Then he turns away, mumbling something about fools, but your own thoughts are on the back of the letter and the brief message printed there. They are words that would convince you to go into the halls of Nar himself. Help me, and I will give you the key to unlocking who you are. So I have here my action chart, and my combat record is below it. Here are the game rules. It just says that you cannot read from the first page to the end page. You'll be told where to go. This is regarding the random number table. I have a D10. Endurance. You start your adventure with 25 current and maximum endurance points. If you are wounded in the adventure, you will lose endurance points. If at any time your endurance points falls to 0 or below, you are dead and the adventure is over. In this case, you must start again at the beginning of the book. Lost endurance points can be regained during the course of the adventure, but your number of current endurance points can never go above your maximum unless otherwise stated by the text. The Hunting Arts. Though your memory is lost to you, still you have retained great innate ability in combat. In addition to this, you have spent the time since your awakening learning from others all across Magnemon and mastering new abilities. In the course of your adventures, you have either recalled or mastered 4 of the following 12 arts. Each one will help you in some way on the adventure, and there is no perfect combination. The usefulness of an ability will heavily depend on the choices you make. When you have chosen your 4 arts, enter them in the Hunting Arts section of your action chart. I am going to read them all, then I am going to make my decisions. Alchemy. You have only the barest memories of your mentor in alchemy, just little more than a voice that still sometimes speaks in your mind while mixing a potion. Choosing this skill means that you are able to create potions and poisons, as well as recognize and identify these when used. There is a list of recipes on your action chart that you can use to make various potions and poisons if you have this art. You will be told when you can make a potion/poison. During these sections, you can choose any one of the potions/poisons from your recipes list. Exceptional awareness. The deadliest threat is the one you do not see coming. Choosing exceptional awareness means you have taken this saying to heart and have developed skills to ensure you are never caught off guard. This level of awareness goes beyond that of most people, making you both a keen observationalist as well as nearly impossible to ambush. Wordcraft. Some battles are won with your blade. Others are won with words. You are as skilled with the latter as the former, and are able to almost supernaturally know the right thing to say at the right time in order to achieve your goals. Some of the greatest challenges can be circumvented with only your voice. Toughness. Choosing this art represents the time you have spent honing your physical stamina and resistances. The art of toughness adds 4 to your maximum endurance points, bringing your total to 29. In addition, you are more resistant to poisons, toxins, and the effects of extreme heat and cold. Zantashi, the perfect cut. Zantashi was developed by Shando, a Vaqueros duelist, so skilled with Shando that he wore a blindfold to his duels, saying it was the only way to fight against him. A fight against him could be fair. This combative technique puts an emphasis on the fighter gathering their spirit and delaying striking until the last possible moment, releasing all their built-up anticipation in a perfect critical blow. It is most effective when fighting one-on-one. Salazan's The Cleaver's Cut. This two-handed combative technique, based on the mundane act of felling trees, emphasizes powerful blows with an axe. Such a heavy blow can deal massive injuries to an opponent, but emphasizes offense over defense, sometimes leading to greater danger on the part of the user. It is also an effective technique for smashing apart objects such as doors. Danthasi Kar, Itakar's Talons. An unusual technique, the Danthasi Kar emulates the speed and suddenness of the dreaded Vasagonian avian, who drops from the sky like death on wings. With this, you have mastered the use of throwing daggers, giving you some ranged attack capabilities. Drovadas Corvil's Grip. Practitioners of Drovadas are able to grab their opponents when close enough, setting them up for a variety of martial tricks, including throws, trips, disarms, and other unconventional techniques to disrupt the flow of combat and gain the upper hand. Someone skilled in Drovadas rarely finds themselves unable to put up a fight, even without a weapon. However, it is only useful in a situation where you are able to get close to your opponent and not as effective against monstrous foes. Voorhees Gunner. One of the items you had when the healer revived you was a Voorhees hand cannon, a weapon made by the dwarven people of northern Magdamon. It is beautifully etched with complicated scroll work, entwined with a rune you have never been able to identify. Though the memory of how you acquired such a weapon is lost to you, you do know how to use it. This hand cannon is a devastating weapon, but it is very loud and can only fire once before needing to reload. which is a cumbersome process. Furthermore, you do not know the secret making of the boom powder, which allows the gun to fire, meaning you must barter for more in between adventures. Thieves' Touch. You have training in the art of the thief, though you cannot recall ever being part of a thieves' guild. This includes the ability to perform many skills such as lock picking, pickpocketing, sneaking in shadows, and also means you know the secret hand language of the thieving guilds. Cat's Step. As a huntress, you have had to traverse difficult terrain and navigate pathways not often walked by other people. You have mastered an art of your own devising called the Cat's Step, which allows you to perform acrobatic feats of climbing, balancing, and maintaining your footing under very difficult circumstances. Mark of the Agarashi. 2 summers ago, you hunted and slew an Agarashi, a demonic creature of immense cunning and power that escaped from the doomlands of Naros and wreaked havoc on the great Lunalian plain. However, the beast took your left eye and left a huge gash down your cheek. You wear an eye patch to cover the hollow socket, but the scar itself remains intimidating. There is a deeper effect as well. Sometimes you hear voices whispering around you, especially in the dark. You do not yet know what these voices portend. If you succeed at your hunt in this book, you will be given the opportunity to add a new art at the beginning of your next adventure. Note that 2 arts that you will never be able to choose again are the Mark of the Agarashi and the Boris hand cannon. If you do not start your adventure with these arts, you will never gain them. Okay, so I really want the Boris hand cannon, but it says if I don't start my game with the Mark of the Agarashi, I won't be able to get it. Am I, like, this is a bad thing, right? The Mark of the Agarashi. It says it talks to you in the dark. But then again, it says I'm never going to be able to get it again. I am missing my left eye and I have a scar down my cheek. I wonder if those factors are taken into account on how, like, people treat me. I kind of want to do it. This is like willingly cursing myself. But it says I can get all the other ones potentially later. But I'll never be able to get that one again. Okay. I'm gonna make a very American huntress. I gotta punch good, I gotta talk good, I gotta shoot good, and I guess I'm cursed. That seems fine to me. So let's start with wordcraft. Then Drovadas. Grapples and throws, no penalty for entering combat without a weapon. I don't think all that is going to fit, so we are going to do Drovadas. Let's assume grapples and throws will be told to me, and we will go no weapon, no penalty. Okay. We will do Boris Gunner. And then there's more. If you choose this art, write Boris Gunner on your action chart and also add a special item, Boris hand cannon. You wear this item in a special holster of your own making, kept hidden under your cloak. It only has enough powder and shot to be used 2 times in total. The number of uses is restored between adventures. I guess I'll just mark as I use them. And the mark of the Agarashi. Fantastic. And I'm cursed. Yeah. Oh, I did forget that I am going to be marking what I have read, so I'm just going to write progress notes. And I read the story so far. That's it. Next. Okay. Equipment. You are dressed in traveler's clothes and a tanned leather vest, which acts as simple armor while also leaving you the most freedom of movement during combat. Your cloak is new, purchased in Toran with money you made in the Wildlands. It is black and well suited to keep you hidden in the shadows. Also hanging from your waist is a leather pouch containing the gold crowns left over from your adventures in the Wildlands. To find out how many, pick 2 random numbers and add them together. This number equals the number of gold crowns you possess at the start of the adventure. Minimum of 2. Minimum of 2. Minimum of 2. Okay. Here we go. Please. That's a 3. And a 6. That's a 9! 9! Note the number in the belt pouch section of the action chart. Yes! For weapons, you can choose one of the following options. A longsword, an axe, a dagger. On one hand, to make the most American huntress, I think I would pick an axe. However, she does have a longsword a lot. And is an axe far enough range? I don't have daggers. And I'm only good in close combat. A longsword. Let's get an axe. Why not? Oh, was I supposed to write that as an axe? Okay. In a vest pocket, you keep flint and tinder, a special item. Am I supposed to write that down? And you wear a simple backpack. In addition, you can choose 5 of the following items to have this adventure. Any one additional weapon. Meals stored in the backpack. You will need to eat meals when instructed or suffer endurance loss. You can choose to take up to 3 meals with you at the start of the adventure. Each single meal counts as one of your item choices. Add 5 to your current gold crowns at the start of the adventure from a secret stash of coins. Torch takes up 2 slots in your backpack. Thieves' lockpick stored in the backpack, only usable with the Thieves' touch art. Potion of Lomspur restores 4 endurance when used after combat. Healer's kit stored in the backpack. A healer's kit has 10 charges which you can only use when the text instructs you to. Each time you use a charge, you heal 1 endurance point. You can use multiple charges at a time. Once all charges are used up, the item is removed from your action chart. Rope and pitons takes up 2 slots in the backpack. Crowbar stored in the backpack. Throwing knives times 4. Special item only used with Denthasi Kar. Erase 1 of these instead of your dagger when instructed to use this technique. Leather satchel. Special item worn slung over the shoulder. Adds 2 additional slots for carrying backpack items. Lucky coin. Special item kept in your pocket. May have various uses in the adventure. Okay, I can choose 5. I think I need to go with the lucky coin because I've basically chosen to curse myself. I don't know what it does, but maybe it's going to like undo some bad stuff. And it says it's logged as a special item, so it actually doesn't take up backpack space. So let's do the lucky coin. Okay, that's 1. A crowbar! I want a crowbar. I'm going to log it as number 2 in case I want something with a longer name as number 1. A crowbar! I don't know what's that going to do, but okay. So that's 2. I think healer's kit? Is that reasonable? It has 10 charges, it says. I think I'll do it. That's 3. Two more. Okay. Ow. I feel like since I didn't pick the cat step, maybe I should pick the rope. I have flint and tinder, so you would think I could use that to make a fire in place of a torch, but I don't think it works that way, so I think I might need a torch. But I also want meals. Okay. I will pick the rope and pitons. Pytex. And I will write it like this so that I know it takes up 2 slots. Yeah. And I will take 3 meals. Why not? Or, wait. No, wait. Each single meal counts as one of your item choices. Counts as one of my item choices. I see. Okay, I will take 1 meal. And I will hopefully be able to find more later. I can read. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's hoping I made some good choices. Let's see. These are just how to use each of these items. And the recipes list that I do not use because I did not get that skill. I do not have that hunting art. Oh, this is different, I think. Evasion of combat. During your adventure, you may be given the chance to evade combat. During an evasion round, perform combat as usual, but any points lost by the enemy that round are ignored. Only the huntress may lose endurance points during that round, but then that is the risk of running away. You may only evade if the text of the particular section allows you to do so. After this evasion round is over, turn to the section given by the text, and then that is it. So we have everything set up here. I hope this will go well, and my American Huntress is set up. I am going to see how this all came out, and then I will be doing my next Let's Play. For now, get out there, do all the stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!